Are you reselling 10DLC A2P connectivity, but you're just struggling to get people approved? Well, in this video, we are going to help you do exactly that through the process of templating. Hi, my name is Will Craig. I am a co-founder of a company called Signal House. We specialize in providing connectivity for CRM systems, but we can power any A2P traffic from any kind of software solution. So let's go ahead and dig in. So the first thing I want to do is break down 10DLC A2P and talk a little bit about the approval process, because this is important to note of how we're going to structure this templating and why you're seeing trouble with getting things approved on the first try. So 10DLC just stands for 10-digit long code. These are the numbers that we are all familiar with, where the first 3 digits correspond to an area code in the United States. Now, A2P just means application to person. So this is the process by which businesses are able to send traffic via just a normal 10-digit phone number from a software system. Now, to do this, to provision a normal number to a business for use, they have to go through this process. It's this 10DLC registration process. And this is something that over the last 30 days, people have really began to struggle with getting consistent approvals. So, and this, by the way, is in March of 2025. So again, in the last 30 days, it's gotten a lot more stringent. Carriers have started enforcing a lot of different rules. And because of that, people are seeing issues getting approved. So what does this approval process look like? Well, it's 2 steps. The first step is your brand registration. Now, this part people generally don't struggle with. It's very straightforward and pretty quick. What you do is you just put in your business information. It's verifying whether or not you're able to send traffic on behalf of that company. So it's just verifying that you have the information for them. So this is going to be your legal company name, your EIN, the type of organization, private, whether it's nonprofit, etc. So all of that information is going to be queried against an IRS database. And if all of that information checks out, you will get a thumbs up in the form of a brand approval, which is just that brand is verified. So that's the technical kind of terminology for that. So where does this approval take place? So this is all housed, or this data is all stored within this company called the campaign registry. And the campaign registry sort of gives you an idea of what the second step is, and that is campaign registration. So we'll get to campaign registration here in a second, but it's important to know that the campaign registry is a company that basically acts as a data warehouse where you have all of your brands and all of your campaigns listed out there, and they facilitate the connections with which your brands are reviewed, which again is just reviewing against an IRS database, and with which your campaigns are reviewed. So campaign review, by contrast, is an individual process. So this is done by the DCAs, or direct connect aggregators. These are companies that sit upstream of your messaging provider, and they are the gateway between your messaging provider and the carriers. So let's say that you are a CRM system that offers 10DLC traffic. Now, let's look at the value chain. So you're the actual CRM here, the messaging provider for the consumer. You have a messaging provider that you are reselling connectivity of. Now, there are a lot of messaging providers out there in the space. There's Signal House, there's Twilio, there's Telenex, there's Vonage. There's a lot of different providers out there. A step above them is the Direct Connect aggregator, or the DCA. There's only 4 of those within the United States. So when your system itself are submitting a campaign, or one of your customers are submitting a campaign through your system, it is flowing through your messaging provider to a DCA. And at that DCA, those reviews are done manually. So an individual human being looks over each and every single one of those submissions. They are looking for quite a few different things. They have very particular set of requirements within your call to action or your message flow, basically how someone will actually opt into your messaging. And this is within the information you're actually submitting when you create the campaign. And then they're also looking at your website. So on your website, they're looking to see where someone opts in. Is the right verbiage there? Is the right language there? If you're using marketing, are there 2 different CTAs that the people are filling out, with one of them being specific to marketing? And they're also looking at your privacy policy. Do you have SMS terms? Do you have a statement talking about you limiting or not doing any at all sharing or selling of third data to third parties for marketing and promotional purposes, or explicitly that SMS opt-in data is not shared or sold to third parties for marketing and promotional purposes. And so since these reviews are done manually, and since especially if you're in the Twilio ecosystem, there's multiple reviews. So you have the Twilio review, you have their DCA1 review, and then you also have their DCA2 review. It's 3 different reviews. Because these are done manually, and especially if you have multiple reviews with as part of the process, it's inconsistent. It's not a scientific process. Even if you template things out perfectly, there still can be a little bit of error, but there's ways for you to optimize or improve your chances to get approved as most as possible. And so part of that is templating your submissions. And so there's really 2 different types of templating. There's templating the submissions themselves, where you are using a script, whether that is just a Google sheet or a Word document that has all of the information in it, and you copy and paste it each time, or more optimally, a technical script that pulls in information from the brand, and based on the specific use case that you're using, whether it's customer care or marketing or a mixed use case, you're populating the correct data in your actual campaign submission. Now, the pro tip that I have, if you are a reseller, a CRM of some kind, or a marketing platform, and you are ingesting these submissions, is that you do template them out. You don't have the end user themselves actually go through the effort of filling these out, because there can be human error. The user is not the expert, so it's up to you to be the expert, or you can rely on your messaging provider to be the expert and provide you the tools necessary to automate that process yourself. And so that's the actual campaign submission template. Now, there's also the website templating as well. So what is important to note here is that you have to provide a verifiable website, a real website where there's working links and that the customer is actually going to use to provide to their end users and their consumers for this marketing campaign, or this messaging campaign, I should say. So if you're doing marketing, if you're doing customer support, or whatever the case may be, you need to have a specific web presence that is referencing those different types of campaign outreach. And you also have to use that for that actual campaign. So you should not be templating websites if those websites are not going to be used by the consumer, because the whole point of 10DLC registration is to actually show the DCAs what the actual opt-in form will look like that the end user is going to see for that specific messaging campaign. But what I will tell you is that for an end user, being an end user who has done this before, and being someone who for 3 or 4 years worked inside of a software company that did this kind of templating for the end users, being an end user, it is so difficult to understand what I specifically should be inputting. So as a reseller, as a system that's working directly with end users and consumers, definitely should be templating those things out. That is my request. That's my pro tip. That's what I would advise you to do. Now, you might be asking, well, Will, listen, we are a marketing platform. We are a CRM system. We would love to template that out, but we're not experts in 10DLC either. And that's where your messaging provider comes in. You should be working with a partner that offers you the ability to do that on your behalf. So basically, they should provide you with either the tools necessary within their APIs or an SDK of some kind that you can implement directly within your platform, so that you're able to template out the campaign submissions, so that you're able to create a web presence for those that do not already have one, and so that you are able to help your end users with their own web presences. And if you're asking, what provider, what carrier would actually have that? Well, let me tell you, Signal House is working on developing just that. And we're developing it because we excel in providing connectivity for CRM systems. Our goal is for your end users to never see the campaign submission itself and to get guaranteed first-time approvals every single time, because we are going to be pulling in the specific information based on their online presence, whether that's one that they need generated because they're a small business and they don't have one, or whether it is their actual online presence. We're pulling in the information and we are submitting that for them. And we're going to provide you with the tools necessary to do that. So we're really excited to announce this. It's going to be coming very, very soon. And we're excited to partner with different systems within the ecosystem to make sure that their end users are able to use connectivity seamlessly. So it's very important that you choose the right provider and the right partner for your business. And because we specialize in connectivity for CRMs and are the definitive CRM and marketing messaging provider, we are offering you these tools to do this on your behalf, so it's no longer a headache for you in your business. So if you want to learn more about this, if you want to be a beta tester and a pilot system for this kind of workflow and connectivity, reach out to me. Will@signalhouse.io would absolutely love to hook you up with that. If you enjoyed this video, give me a thumbs up. Subscribe to our channel. We provide this messaging content 5 days a week, and look forward to our next video. Thanks so much.